list. Explore the wildest reaches of the earth, NASCAR's next generation of drivers, and why insects may already be inside your home.
If you can see the light, then it needs to be filled.
Plus,
I can say whatever I want as long as it's how I feel. That's what my therapist, Alan, says.
how one comic is forging a new path in entertainment.
If you've got a roof, a mic, an amp, and friends, I will come to your roof and do a show.
But up first, tips to beat inflation at the grocery store. It's your life, it's your list, and it starts right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Jimmy Rhodes.
And I'm Christina Guerrero. We have all felt the pinch of rising prices recently, and one of the places that it's hit the hardest, the grocery store.
But that doesn't mean mealtime can't be affordable and easy.
That's right. How you can keep your family full without eating into your savings is our featured story at the top of the list.
Most of us are finding it tough to find good deals on everyday food essentials.
Inflation has caused food prices to skyrocket, but it is totally okay because there are a lot of ingredients that are still affordable at the grocery store.
For some tips on how to fill your belly without emptying your wallet, we turn to Tony Akamoto, author of Plant-Based on a Budget, Quick and Easy. Starting with inflation-beating foods.
Beef and eggs that have increased so much, but there are also some plant-based ingredients that are staples, very economical, and have only increased 5% or 10%.
Some of her favorites.
Beans are an ingredient that people have been thriving on for centuries. They're extremely economical. I like to buy them in bulk. For breakfast, I usually go with morning oats, topped with some plant-based milk and a blend of berries.
Potatoes are her go-to support for breakfast and dinners.
And then lastly, we've got these blends of frozen produce. And what I love about these is that they're not only affordable, but they are also pre-washed and pre-chopped.
Next, shop by price per ounce.
It's very misleading when you go to the grocery store and you see a small container at an affordable price and you think you're getting a good deal.
But she says you should check if there's a larger version and compare.
The bigger bottle might be a better deal. And the way you find out is you're going to check that price label, and it usually says price per ounce. You're looking for the cheapest price per ounce.
Often you're going to find that with the store label.
Almost always cheaper. So the big bottle of the name brand that you're familiar with might be more expensive, but the store brand could be very affordable.
While you're at it, don't sleep on the discount grocery stores.
A lot of people don't realize that places like Dollar General and Dollar Tree have a variety of healthy ingredients that are going to cost you far less.
So Tony makes monthly trips.
And I stock up on my frozen items and my pantry staples.
And the price difference may shock you.
These frozen berry blends. If I were shopping at a natural food store, it would probably be in the $4 to $5 range. And I shopped at Walmart. This was $2.29. So it's half the price.
Finally, shop in bulk.
I bring my own measuring cups because I want to make sure that I'm not buying more than what I need.
To double check on hygiene issues, she got advice from the stores.
They recommend wrapping it in the plastic bag and then using it to scoop.
Overall, she says to keep things simple.
You don't have to create elaborate recipes with lengthy ingredient lists, and stick to the basics.
Keeping the quality high and the prices low with budget food shopping tips is at the top of the list.
Summer is fast approaching, and you know what that means. Bugs. We have the buzz on some that can be particularly problematic, how to spot them and how to stop them in their tracks.
Think of summer, lots of things come to mind. Swimming pools, barbecues, and bugs.
Well, we're coming into the summer months. What are some of the most common summer bugs that people are going to see from coast to coast?
The most common summer bugs for sure are ants, spiders, crickets, and cockroaches.
I invited Ben McAvoy, founder of Insect Tech Pest Solutions, to come check out my new renovation project to show me some common spots around the home that summer bugs love to target and how to prevent infestation. First, the kitchen, which is a favorite spot for
Number one are interior roaches like German cockroaches. They're the little ones that are looking for food, shelter, and they reproduce at very high rates. And so this kitchen environment gives them a really, really good habitat for that.
And would they be under the sink?
Absolutely.
Ben says to look for any gaps around the pipes or cracks in the wall, and if you do find any, it's an easy DIY fix.
You just want to use some silicone caulking and easily fill those cracks.
He says you can also use that foaming filler you can find at the hardware store if gaps are too big or if you find any hole.
Most bugs do not need a lot of room to fit through to get inside your home. In some cases, think as thin as a credit card.
Next, check your entryways, which can be inviting to spiders and crickets. And we all know how annoying those ninja cricket chirps can be.
Jimmy, I wanted to show you the gaps that you have around the door here, especially the one on the ground. So one thing that I wanted to recommend is either adjusting a door threshold that many homes have, or getting some weather stripping where you can put right inside these gaps. I mean, right here, if you can see the light, then it needs to be filled.
Another place bugs love to target is the bathroom. And it just so happens I had a major ant problem in mine.
If there's a moisture source, bugs are going to be attracted to that area. This right here is a great example of an ant infestation.
Yeah.
Them coming in looking for water.
For ants, he recommends calling the pros. The over-the-counter spray that I tried only works temporarily, and then they return, or worse.
Sometimes it can act like gas on a fire, where the ants actually spread to different parts of the home and create new colonies.
He says hiring a professional for ants is important because they can treat the insides of the walls of your home, which is a bit much for a DIY project.
A lot of bugs are living inside the wall voids in many cases. When you see ants that come into your home, a lot of times they are not coming from directly outside the home. They've already been living inside your home.
We're learning how to keep those pesky summer pests outside where they belong.
You know, stand-up comedy has evolved a lot over the decades, but never so drastically as in the last couple of years. Suddenly, comics who used to rely on club bookings are performing everywhere, from podcasts to random rooftops. Comedy heavyweight Sam Morril tells Zach Perry about how comedians are taking their careers into their own hands.
I can say whatever I want as long as it's how I feel. That's what my therapist, Alan, says.
In the past, stand-up comics had very few outlets to showcase their talents. But with the emergence of social media, jokesters like Sam Morril are finding a new kind of freedom.
I ran into my biological father recently. I told my friend, he was like, is your biological father a good person? And I was like, if he were, I probably would not refer to him as my biological father.
Anytime you could circumvent the boneheads in the you know, big offices, you're thrilled. I say that when I'm still trying to sell stuff, so maybe I shouldn't call them that.
From his latest interview on That's My Time with David Letterman, Sam Morril tells us how comics are performing comedy outside the club.
During the pandemic, no clubs were open, so I was like, I'm gonna put on Instagram stories. If you've got a roof, a mic, an amp, and friends, I will come to your roof and do a show. And I did it every night for like at least 6 weeks.
Which led him to making his own comedy special, Up on the Roof, that he released on YouTube during 2020.
No, it's great to make your own special because anytime you could just put it out when you want and there's not some weird internal politics.
From self-producing specials to the freedom of podcasts. Next, Sam says comedians are thriving online with no time limits and unlimited room for creativity.
I mean, you learn a lot about someone. I've become friends with people on their podcast. It's kind of like going to someone's house, but it's recorded. It's weird.
But when going on hit podcasts like the Joe Rogan Experience that reaches 11 million listeners per episode, Sam sees the benefits.
I sound like the biggest coward. I am hated in Bridgeport right now.
And appearing on different podcasts really helps reaching new audiences across the country.
For us, it makes touring much easier. A lot more people feel like they know you and will come out to see you. So I'm grateful for, you know, all these outlets.
Finally, the surge of TikTok and social media has fueled the creation of comedic content.
One of my friends was like, I got this dating site for you. Comes over, it's a prison dating site. And we laugh for like 5 minutes, but then like minute 6, we're like, there's some attractive women here.
But he's saving his best bits.
For one thing, I don't want to burn material. That's going to be in my next special if I can help it.
Sam says sharing his jokes online gives viewers a window into what to expect in the comedy club.
Sometimes you have to be in the room and there was just like a feeling that you can't recreate, but I think if you can recreate it in the snippet, it's a really good trailer for kind of what you do on stage.
You can stream same time tomorrow on Netflix. Stand up for a new generation, one joke at a time.
Still to come on the list, wedding bouquets for every style.
We use like small flowers, so we can create something really nice with the design.
Plus, make way for NASCAR's next generation of drivers. And
every spring, thousands of elephant seals come ashore to breed.
go behind the scenes of a big new nature series.
You do need to be ready for whatever nature throws at you.
All that and more ahead on the list.
Welcome back, everyone. And wedding season is on the horizon. And if you're tying the knot, that means big pressure.
Oh, absolutely. That's because these days it's not enough to marry your one and only. Your wedding also has to be the one and only of its kind.
Well, deep breaths. Hattie D. Jamal is here to make your ceremony stand out with some dazzling alternative wedding bouquets.
Every soon-to-be wed wants to shine at their upcoming nuptials, and these show-stopping blooms just might help.
Obviously, no one wants to be wearing the same outfit, let alone having the same flowers.
We have multiple options. We can do anything with flowers.
We met up with Blanca Mondragon, senior designer at Amazing Flowers in Phoenix, Arizona, to bring you 3 alternative wedding bouquets.
So I always say, just give me your vision. My job is to bring your vision into a reality. I will try my best to make your wedding unique.
First up, the floral clutch.
Basically what it is a long corsage that we incorporate into the clutch.
It works for both glam and bohemian weddings. Also, an ideal option to carry essentials.
You can have inside your cell phone, your lipstick, anything that you may need.
And when the event's over, the adornment is detachable.
You can just remove it, throw it away, or save it if you want, but you can keep the clutch.
I love it. So it's not just form, it has function.
Of course.
And you get to keep it.
Yes.
Comes in clutch.
We move on to an arrangement that instead of being carried, can be worn. The statement necklace.
I think this is absolutely gorgeous.
I love it too. So this is basically a necklace. If you have a nice dress, but you don't want to carry on the flowers in your hands, what about a nice necklace full of fresh blooms?
Smaller flowers are used to achieve the ideal design to highlight any neckline.
Normally we use like small flowers, so we can create something really nice with the design.
Also,
some kind of flowers, they have a lot of fragrance, but normally those are the big flowers. When we are using small flowers, we try to incorporate the flowers that they are kind of hard, so they can be resistant for a couple hours.
Definitely don't want to smell like an old ant coming down the aisle.
Oh yeah, definitely yes.
We're wrapping it up with the composite bouquet.
What it is we use the same flower, but we create a bigger version of that simple stem.
In this case, a cymbidium orchid.
This is very unique, and it's a time consuming to create it, I'm not gonna lie, but the result is really beautiful.
How long does it typically take to get something like this?
Like 2 to 4 hours.
Wow.
Yes.
It all comes together to create an arrangement that also will photograph beautifully.
Take the picture from the front so everybody can see and appreciate all the petals, all the center. There's so many ways that you can photograph something like this. It doesn't matter the angle, you always can find a nice shot with something unique. I think everybody is looking for different ways to do the traditional and traditional.
We're helping you stand out and shine with these unique wedding bouquets.
Guys, get excited because Friday is National NASCAR Day, and Teresa Strasser is getting you revved up with a look at some of the drivers putting you behind the wheel on TikTok. Teresa. Thank you. With more than 65 million likes combined, these NASCAR driver influencers are bringing the excitement of racing to TikTok. Coming in at number 1, Hailie Deegan. Hailie is a 21-year-old American professional stock car driver and a full-time NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver.
And while her TikTok shows some fun aspects of being a NASCAR driver, she also shows what could happen in a race.
I definitely see a flame underneath, Mike. Okay, now let the air get out. Do not put that on. We're done. Help her. Help her.
That was intense. And as she put it, inhaling fire smoke ain't fun. We are glad she's fine now. At number 2, Ryan Vargas. Ryan is a 22-year-old NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver. He's sharing the fast-paced world that is NASCAR. He also shows us how a custom race seat gets made. I obviously need that for my minivan. And last on our list of NASCAR driver influencers, Anthony Alfredo.
This is the rhythm of the...
Anthony, a 24-year-old NASCAR Xfinity Series driver, grew up in a family of race fans and started racing for fun at a local rental kart facility. He's since traded in that kart for the number 78 Chevrolet Camaro for BJ McLeod Motorsports. And if you think NASCAR drivers only practice on the track, Anthony shows us his souped-up sim racing. Honestly, I'm actually a little carsick just watching that. Very impressive. Those were some NASCAR driver influencers showing us what it's like in the seat of a NASCAR driver. More to come here on the list. Stay with us.
Welcome back, everyone. And on today's watch list, get ready for some seriously gigantic animals. The new Apple TV Plus nature docuseries Big Beasts took years to film, and the results are as earth-shaking as you'd imagine. Zach Perry caught up with the show's producers to learn more.
With a roar louder than a thunderclap, he does his best to intimidate.
From the freezing poles to tropical rainforests, Apple TV Plus's newest nature docuseries, Big Beasts, takes audiences on an epic journey around the globe to meet nature's most captivating giants.
Where danger and adventure are on a scale unlike anything we've seen.
Narrated by Tom Hiddleston, this nature docuseries took over 4 years to film. We caught up with the series producers Tom Hugh Jones and Bill Markham, who learned some valuable lessons out in the field. First, that patience is a virtue.
The teams are absolutely, as you say, dedicated. You've got to be very patient and very tenacious to capture those moments in the field. In some ways, I would say it's more about passion than patience. You become so obsessed by the excitement that you might get that amazing shot.
Traditionally, everyone thinks of wildlife cameramen as sitting in a hide with a long lens and waiting. I think these days you've got to be a lot more proactive and dynamic than that.
They also had to utilize patience when finding locations to film.
It's not just about turning up and filming something. You have to find exactly the right place to do it. The research process is enormous before you even turn over on the camera.
Next, the crew trekked across the globe to film in 17 different countries.
We were looking for those regions where you've got an interesting mix of big animals. We wanted to kind of take people to the jungles or to the Arctic or to the mountains. So we looked for a nice mix of habitats and worlds to explore.
But with the rise of global warming and climate change, it's provided its own unique set of challenges when filming wildlife in nature.
The seasons have become much more unpredictable, so it's not easy, but we use a really expert team of wildlife producers with experience. We work with local talent. We used a lot of really experienced, intelligent, in-country people who know their animals on their doorstep.
Finally, the producers developed new ways of filming never-before-seen footage of the world's largest animals.
We invented these cameras that you could fly in with drones and then drop into the water. So there's a shot in the Antarctic program of a whale going past the camera. It would have been really hard to do that with someone near because the whales would just swim away. It's a bit like fishing. You don't quite know what you're going to get, but keep trying and you'll get an amazing shot.
Discovering the world's biggest beasts is what's on the watch list. We'll be right back.
welcome back. It's time for what's last on our list. You know, dating is tough and having a drink to take the edge off seems standard.
Sure, it's pretty normal to have a first date at a bar over a beer or a glass of wine. However, KG, that might be changing.
Yeah, check out this article from Bustle. Drinking on a date is the latest viral ick.
Yeah, ick as in, ew, yucky, blech.
Exactly. And actually, some are going so far as to say that drinking is the new cigarette. Remember cigarettes? While they were once cool in an old-timey movie, these days, not so much. Cigarettes harmful to your health and not attractive.
Okay, so the Sober Curious movement is really leading the way on this. And a new crop of folks say they'd rather really get to know someone without drinks than hang with someone who ends up sloppy. In fact, according to this article in the Wall Street Journal, more than a third of people on the dating app Hinge say they are more open to going on a sober date now versus a year ago.
Yeah, and on Tinder, the word sober is included in bios now more than ever. Now, Jimmy, I know how important health is to you, but you're going to love this next perk. It's also cheaper.
Absolutely. You're talking my love language now. Going out for drinks on a date can be expensive. Sober dating, I mean, that could be like a hike, free, going on a bike ride, that's free, picnic at a park, free.
All right, cheap is also a turnoff, so careful there, Casanova. And that is what's last on our list. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Tomorrow on the list, why confidence is a key to creating wealth.
We put our attention on the end result and we let that pull us forward in the steps we take here in the present.
Plus, advanced parenting advice from a pediatrician.
When children gain independence, it's really good for their self-esteem.
And
oh my gosh, it melts in your mouth.
Fire up the smoker for the best regional barbecues.
The smoke ring is that red part, really where all of the flavor comes from.
Tomorrow on the list.